Hi everyone, and welcome back to Discovering Nutrition with Chronometer, a podcast where we explore the science, stories, and strategies behind better health and nutrition. I'm your host, Eliisa, Community Marketing Manager at Chronometer, and today we're talking about something many of us experience almost every time we walk into a grocery store, trying to make sense of food labels and packaging. With claims like high protein, low fat, natural, or no artificial ingredients, it can sometimes feel like every product is competing to look like the healthiest option on the shelf. But how much of what we see on the packaging is actually nutrition, and how much of it is marketing? To help unpack that, I'm joined by Matt, who many of you know online as Cheat Day Design. Matt is a content creator in the health and fitness space, known for breaking down food labels and rebranding familiar foods in ways that reveal how easily our perceptions can be shaped by packaging and marketing. In this episode, we talk about the psychology behind food marketing, why certain claims show up on labels, and how consumers can better understand what's actually in the food they buy. We also dive deep and reflect on diet culture, the nutrition myths many of us grew up with, and how those experiences shape the way we think about food today. Before we get started, just a quick reminder that the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional for personalized guidance. All right, let's get into it. Here's my convo with Matt from Cheat Day Design. We'll kick off by you introducing yourself to the Chronometer community. So tell us who you are and everything that you're about.
Everything that I'm about. My name is Matt. A lot of people know me as Cheat Day Design, mostly on Instagram, but I'm across other platforms too. Cheat Day Design was my web design company that I created for the fitness community, and over the years has shifted quite a bit, and now I am pretty much just a content creator in the fitness space, but that is how most people probably know me and discovered me more recently. I do a lot of food label related content, and that's generally how people know me. But I will assume that anybody listening to this has no idea who I am. So I will do my best to explain everything that I do as we continue talking. But in a nutshell, that's it. I'm a content creator in the health and fitness space, mostly food label related.
I love your content. Actually, when we were talking before, you really helped me open up my eyes to what branding can actually do. And you and I spoke about like the RX bar, because I'm over at Costco and I'm in this hallway, more or less, of protein bars. And there's so many that have artificial sweeteners, which I do try to avoid because there's some gastric sensitivity there. And so I see, that's a nice way of saying that I shit my pants.
We get it.
Yeah, totally. And so I'm in this sea of these bars, and the RX bar jumps out at me. You know why? Because it has no BS. And and I don't want the BS in my protein bars. And then you made a post, and this is since I've known you, since you've been working with us, and you kind of like broke down, I think actually the RX bar in particular. Yep. And give me an overview of what you broke down, if you recall.
Yes, of course. So real quick, because I'm sure some people are listening and have no idea what's going on. The main thing I do on social media is rebranding food. So I have a background in design and a very long history with health and nutrition and fitness. So something that's fun for me is doing these rebrands where I take something that's unhealthy or that is perceived as being unhealthy and I rebrand it. I don't tell any lies. I just take things about the product that can frame it in a way that make it seem like a health food. And that's how a lot of people have discovered me. That's a large part of the content I do. And I do it both ways too, from healthy to unhealthy, and then from unhealthy to healthy. I do both. And then because of that, I've kind of just become like a source for branding and food labels. So I create other content around that. And when I find real life examples, I try to bring those to light. So the RX bar example, it's a really interesting one to me because they are like the pinnacle of honest food labeling. And most people are probably familiar, but if you're not, RX bar, they basically just on the front of the package just list the like 4 ingredients that are in the bar. It's like 2 egg whites, blah 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 blah, and it's all right there. And their thing is no BS. But the thing that's really interesting to me now that I've done this kind of food label stuff for so long is that I could identify no BS as kind of being BS in and of itself, in the fact that it doesn't mean anything. It's just what that company specifically decides is a bad ingredient. They don't include it in their bar. So they say that there's no BS in it. But to somebody else, some of the ingredients that they use could be BS. You know, there are vegans out there that don't want to eat egg whites, and there are egg whites in the bar. So what they're saying is not, you know, untrue or misleading inherently. They're saying like there's nothing artificial really or anything that's perceived as being bad for you. But the fact that they can just put no BS on the label, it's something that really any company can do because they are defining the BS themselves.
Which gave me so much food for thought because I chose that bar in Costco in this, you know, there was probably like 25 options. And the one that appealed to me the most exclusively because of their very well done marketing was that it had no BS. And I interpreted that to be healthier because you're right. They listed like 4 ingredients. And then I was like, and that's all that has to be in it. And then so I was actually purchasing it just on the premise that I thought that those were the total ingredients and that BS. I thought that it implied that there was nothing else at all beyond the 4 ingredients. But then after speaking with you, it was like light bulb moment. And I read the packaging and I'm like, oh, there's actually more going on here.
The RX bar one is really interesting because it seems like the front of the label is all of the ingredients in the bar, but it's really just the 4 main ingredients. And to give them credit, like there's not a lot to the bars. They are really minimal. So there's, you know, like maybe 2 or 3 other ingredients or like fillers. So they're not the main ingredients, but when you look at the front of the label, you see these 4 things and it's like, oh, cool. That's what I'm eating right there. But then there are other ingredients in there. They just don't have to disclose that because it's not the ingredients list. The actual ingredients list is on the back. The front of it is just part of the marketing.
And I really never thought about marketing on food labels, which is crazy to say working in the marketing department at Chronometer. But I just didn't really consider. And then so I've consumed your content. You notice all the food puns I'm using, by the way?
You're doing a great job.
Consumed your thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, our nutrition scientist Karen would be just enamored with me right now. But I actually really didn't think about it until I started consuming your content. And I'm like, whoa, anyone can make anything look good. Like you also did one about Gushers. And I think you rebranded them as like pear. What was that one? What was that?
Yeah, because they use like pear is one of the ingredients in it. So I just kind of leaned into that and like used a photo of a pear. I forgot what I called that one, but you know, you can call out like made with real fruit juice because there's real fruit juice in it, even though the gush inside Gushers is just like whatever nonsense. I don't even know what it's made out of, but there's fruit juice in it. So you can call that out. So yeah, it's just leaning into the things that the consumer would want. And that, like, to your point, you were saying that like you didn't even realize that this was marketing or like pay any attention to it. That just means it's working. You know, like you're not supposed to notice it. It's just like these things jump out at you, like the RX bar is just like, ooh, I want this. And like you're not supposed to think about it. And that's kind of the point. You know, it's made to just catch your eye, and the faster it does that, the better it works.
I don't know how I feel about that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, when you really start, and I like what I do like with my content now because it has opened up a lot of people's eyes to it. And like when I started doing it, the intent was not to like shine a light on the industry as a whole to say like everybody's lying to you, but it kind of turned into that. And like the byproduct of it is just people being way more aware of it, which I think is a really positive thing in the end, because a lot of companies are misleading, but even if they're not, like they're calling things out on the package that they want you to know. But like the whole thing that I do is I just want people to be aware that there's so much more to a product, and that like if you flip it over and look at those nutrition facts and the ingredients list, those can't lie to you. I mean, they can. If companies really want to, be awful, I guess they could purposely screw those up. But there are regulations on those, so there would be a lawsuit. The ingredients list is exactly what's in the product. The front of the package is just what they want you to think about a product. So in doing what I do, and I've heard from a lot of people that it's opened up their eyes to realizing how important it is to just look at the ingredients and the nutrition facts, because we all also like define healthy differently, or like there are certain things like you're saying with your GI issues, like a lot of people don't mind sugar substitutes because it doesn't bother them. So like that part of a product doesn't matter to them, but you would want to be aware of that. And that's something that you would look for in the ingredients. So it's different for each person. And that's why like it's just so important to read those versus just trusting whatever the front of the package is telling you. And I'm sorry to talk about your poop problems again.
We did a whole podcast one time on poop, so I've shared too many details now. I feel like
everybody knows. Okay.
Everybody knows me from the inside out already. Yeah, it's fine.
Gross.
Yeah, I know. It is gross. It's funny because when you're doing a rebrand, so again, I hope that everyone that listens goes and creeps your gram after this, but when you're doing a rebrand, what I think is so fascinating, and I'm so susceptible maybe to marketing, is when you're like calling out the things that people will do, like let's make this a fun color, or like let's use this image. Like I am someone that falls prey to those very gimmicky marketing things. Like my eye is caught by something that's shiny and rainbowy. So
I mean, I fall for it too, and like this is what I do is I try to make people aware of it, and I still fall for it because it works. And so much of it is the healthy branding is what I focus on, and so much of it is just like based in like there's like earth tones and like simplicity to it, and like there are certain words that will elicit certain feelings, and there's just like so many tricks that have just worked for so long. And like now that I do this, I'm so much more aware of it and I see it all the time. But like just companies on packages using things like mountain ranges or like beautiful valleys, and it's just like it makes it feel like it's a natural product, and they don't have to say anything. It's just what the package looks like, and you will make your own assumption on the product without them even having to say anything. So they're not technically misleading you because they're not telling you what to feel or think. There's just like an image out there or a certain coloring out there, and it makes you feel a certain way. And this has happened for a very long time, and it still works. And it's not just you, it's everybody.
Just you even calling that out, I'm thinking like Hidden Valley Ranch and like how beautiful their logo is, like you're right. But then what's also interesting, my wheels are just spinning here, is that adults might be drawn to that like more wholesome, earthy thing. But then you go down the Gusher aisle, which I've been down the Gusher aisle. It's fun and vivacious and colorful. Yep. I'm assuming that's probably because they're trying to get your kids to scream to put those in the shopping cart. Of course. Do you have any things that you've noticed in particular between like successful kid marketing versus adult marketing? Like, what are some of these things? You kind of touched on like mountain ranges and like neutral colors. Are there anything that you've noticed across the board that people are using?
Kids branding is really interesting because it's like bridged the gap from where it was in the 90s. Like if you think of like 90s like cereals and like the over the top like insane mascots and like just the crazy branding that existed, like there was less of a focus on just like health in general, and it was more just like here's this delicious candy or cereal or whatever, and like people were buying these fun crazy snacks. And then there was a shift and people in general just became more health conscious, and it's kind of like that gap has closed. And now you'll notice with kids branding that a lot of it is like it's still really fun and colorful. That's like the heart of it. And a lot of times there's character collaboration, so you're going to see SpongeBob all over like yogurt and crackers and like Paw Patrol and stuff, but there's so many more call outs for the parents, because so if a kid is shopping with their parent, which I have a 4-year-old at home now, so like if he sees Paw Patrol on the shelf, he's going to want it, so like that works. But then there's so many things now called out for the parents, so that when they see it, then they want to buy it for their kids because it's healthier. So it's like it's taking both sides of it. Of the branding's still very fun, and that's what kids branding is. Like if it looks like a health food, a kid's not going to want to eat it. And if it sounds like a junk food, a parent isn't going to want to buy it. So it's kind of taking both and combining it, and it's leaning into a lot now of either sounding like it uses natural ingredients or specifically doesn't use artificial dyes or colors. Those are like the huge ones for parents specifically, that like I don't know which products do and don't use them at this point, but like if you take like Fruit by the Foot or whatever, I don't know what coloring they use, probably nothing good, but like it would call out no artificial dyes, or right. I mean that I could go on forever, but that's another thing that companies will do too, is that like in the artificial department there's dyes, flavorings, sugar, like artificial sweeteners. So they could call out no artificial sweeteners in this product, but there could be dyes and colors in there. But you see no artificial blank, and it makes it seem like a more natural, healthier option. So to answer your question, that's what you'll find a lot. If you start paying attention to it now, you're going to notice that a lot, that the kids' foods, like when you go down that Gushers aisle, if that exists, that there's just going to be a ton of color, but then each package is going to try to speak to the parents also.
Real fruit puree, I think, would be like,
yes.
I think that's what you touched on in Gushers. I love
exactly.
90s. I love 90s cereal marketing. You just brought back so many flashbacks, like Tony the Tiger and Toucan Sam. Those live in my soul. I remember, though, I used to get educated from the cereal box as well. And that would be something that I would convince my parents. It would be like, if you buy me these Frosted Flakes, I will be getting educated, because there was a word search on the back, actually.
It was all we had.
I know. That's all we had.
There was no entertainment.
No, there wasn't. And then do you remember they used to put toys inside?
Of course.
Okay. So I would
You'd have to dig for it.
Well, that's the thing. So I had a system. I developed a system. So my parents, I would. My parents would buy me Lucky Charms. Those were my go-to. Because, again, the rainbows. There's just something about me and rainbows. And
do you ever pick out all the marshmallows and have a bowl of only marshmallows?
Okay, I have two things to say there. One, that's exactly what I would do. There used to be a treat in there of some sort, like a cute keychain or, something Lucky related. That's their mascot. So I would get home and I would...
I'm familiar.
Of course you are. I would get home and I would put like a sheet of parchment paper out before my brothers could see that my parents had bought Lucky Charms. And I would sift through And I would pull out all the marshmallows and the toy, and then I put it all in the box, and then I would put it back at the cupboard. My parents never knew, and then my brothers just would not rat me out. But then I went to the United States of America, Matt, as an adult, okay? And y'all have exclusively marshmallow cereal. It's like Lucky Charms without like the whole wheat puffs. It's just marshmallow.
Yeah. We got the craziest cereal aisle.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
And then there are things that I noticed as well in Canada that are different. Like our Smarties, which are, I think like that you guys call Rockets Smarties. Yeah.
I don't even know what Rockets are. Smarties are like an M&M type deal, right?
They are in Canada, yeah.
Yeah. Our Smarties are like chalk.
Yeah, they are, which are also delicious.
Yeah.
We have
or like Pez.
Those are called Rockets here in Canada.
Anyway,
we've had muted colors on Smarties and stuff for a really long time, and like Fruit Loops. And then I would go down to the United States and I would buy these things because I think they're delicious. I know that I'm not supposed to say that, but I do think they're really good. And they'd be like,
I grew up on the stuff. I get it.
Yeah, me too. I think I told you before, but my parents would buy me one health cereal and then they'd buy me one fun cereal. So the deal was that we could have the fun cereal, but we had to mix it, physically mix it. I know. So I would have
like
Raisin
Bran cereal and marshmallows. Sweet.
Oh yeah. Like if I could go back in time, back to, mid 90s, that version of Eliisa would eat the Bran cereal first.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could just eat them separately.
I could have.
The Lucky Charms would have been so much better without Bran flakes.
But that was not the deal. Oh, that's so funny. My parents listened to the podcast, so shout out to you guys for making me mix Bran cereal with Lucky Charms. My mom is going to be like,
well, here, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you like Bran cereal now?
I actually do.
It worked.
Can you believe that? I actually will add all
So
Bran
shout out to your parents, because now look at you eating Bran cereal and staying regular. So,
but that's right, voluntarily. Wow, I didn't think about that either. Like how the tables have turned. I've become my own worst nightmare. That's so funny. On a deeper note, I have a question about morals.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that right now more than ever, it's hard to know what information is truthful out there in terms of like social media. Obviously, someone's telling you to eat this, someone's telling you to eat that, someone's telling you not to eat this, someone's telling you not to eat that. I feel like it's a little immoral to mislead people, I think, on food packaging. People are trying to make the best choices for them and their families. And these companies are like kind of cherry picking what information they want to share that's going to lead someone to buying them. Like, how does this fly? Why do you think that this is
like,
even
why
something
is it okay?
like why are companies even allowed to do this?
I mean, speaking for the United States, the regulations are just terrible and non-existent. That it's all of it is so loosely regulated, and there's just so many workarounds. Like the only real regulations for us are the actual like specific number call outs. So like if you want to say something is like an excellent source of protein, it has to have a certain amount of protein in it. So like those types of things are regulated. But like if a product has, let's call it just like 5 grams of protein, which is not an excellent source of protein, like that product could have 500 calories and 5 grams of protein. And you can just put 5 grams of protein really big on the front of the label without disclosing, anything else. And like still somebody will see that and be like, oh, like this has protein in it, but like not seeing the bigger picture of like, well, how many calories is it or how much fat is in it? And, you know, the whole nutrition picture is just you're seeing just that. And like that kind of thing isn't regulated. Like I don't know how that would necessarily be regulated because there are all these workarounds and loopholes of like not making a specific claim. You know, you're just saying what's in a product, which is not a lie. And that's a lot of what you'll see on labels here. And it's a lot of just like letting the consumer draw their own conclusions without necessarily saying something specifically. That protein one is a huge one that I see all the time. And then it's also just like calling things out that are really just like irrelevant. Like if you had a bag of sugar and it just said like fat free on it, but somebody who is concerned with their fat intake, it's like, oh, like there's a fat free option, not like putting any thought into it or like just like seeing it and thinking like, well, this must be a better option than other ones for me because I don't want to consume fat and like that kind of thing. Whereas like, you're not necessarily misleading anybody. You're just like giving them information that they could run with. Like it is misleading. Don't get me wrong, but it's like taking something truthful about a product. So like in terms of regulating it, you know, they're not necessarily doing anything wrong. So like it's this weird, like, I don't know like how you would regulate that kind of thing. And that's like outside of extreme examples, like that's what you see most of the time here for us because those regulations are so loose. You'll find that kind of stuff all the time. So I can't answer your question like, why is it okay? Because it shouldn't be. I would love it if, you know, all brands were very honest about what the product was. And like, if it's a nacho cheese chip, like I wish it would just be a nacho cheese chip. Like, hey, eat this. It's delicious. It's a snack and you'll like it. But because everyone's really health conscious or wants to be or pretends to be, we like have an obligation to call these things out. And like that same nacho cheese chip will be low sodium or like no trans fat, which most products don't have any trans fat at this point, or like low cholesterol. And like that kind of stuff is just thrown out there because it's something true about the product and it just makes it seem like it's a better option. But they're just kind of like throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks. Cause I mean, a lot of these companies, like you'll like a bag of Doritos, like month to month or like year over year, like if you pull up an image of it, there are going to be like small changes all the time because a lot of these companies do just exactly that, see what sticks and like just like change up some things and see like, all right, like how does this affect our sales? How does this affect it? And you're just going to see like the main package is going to remain consistent, but all those call outs and the way that they're presenting information, you'll see it changing all the time.
I could never do marketing for a food company, I don't think, because like here at Chronometer, we're so like one of our core values, literally written, is to not do anything we feel slimy about. And I just would not feel good about like cherry picking information. This reminds me of actually a commercial, also maybe from the 90s. And all commercials for me are probably from the 90s because then I stopped watching TV after that. But I think it was for some kind of, was it like car insurance or something? It was basically saying like someone got in an accident in their vehicle and then they got like a new paint job because they were in an accident. Oh, it was for Carfax is who it was for. And then when they were selling it in their ad, they're like, new paint job. And because it was, and that's true, technically speaking. Right. But then the reasons why is because it was totaled by hitting a moose or something else, you know?
Yeah.
And that like cherry picking.
That was real quick. The difference between Canada and the US right there was very evident. The fact that that car accident was caused by a moose.
Well, they do
Yeah.
a lot more damage than anything else. What would you guys hit in the United States if you were to?
A deer.
Okay, we have those too.
Oh, yeah, I know. It was just funny.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about hitting a moose with my car because I don't think I've ever even seen a moose in real life.
Yeah, if you hit a moose while you were drinking your maple syrup, you might be in Canada. But just back to the Carfax ad, that was also like illuminating to me. But I think it's different. It's almost like more accepted with food because they were calling out how slimy that would be, but in food they are just like doing the same thing. And I would argue that the impact,
people like, I think it's justified, or I'm not justifying it. I think companies justify it because consumers want to feel good about their choices.
yes.
So like it feels as though you're doing them a service of like, here's our candy or whatever, and like here are the good things about it so you can feel good about yourself choosing it. And people want to feel good about their choices. Like even somebody who is not focused on their health, you still want to feel like you're making good choices. I mean, there are some instances where it doesn't matter, but like if you have an opportunity to eat exactly what you want to eat, but have it presented in a way that like makes you feel better about it, or like makes it seem like you're making the right choice, like that, people are always going to go for that. So I think from a marketing perspective, it's certainly slimy, and a lot of these companies are doing really sketchy things. But I think that's how it's justified, because like consumers want to feel good about what they're eating. I know you hate it. I don't like it either.
No, I don't agree with it, which I don't usually have strong opinions, but something about that, people are just trying to make good choices, and it's just giving them like almost a false sense of security, which I really don't like. But beyond that, I still eat these things. You and I think that we bonded over like Pop-Tart consumption, you know? Like I will still have foods that I know aren't nutrient dense. I don't want to say good or bad. Not as nutrient dense, because I want to eat things that bring me joy and pleasure. But I'm like okay with knowing that it's not okay, but I am sad for people that don't know that it's not okay.
Yes.
You know, I'm making an informed decision.
The vast majority of people still like are not all that informed when it comes to nutrition. And I mean, I don't know how or when that changes, just because there's a million different sources of information all spitting different things at you, that they're going to just take what's on a label at face value of like, oh, this one's low fat or this one's cholesterol free, as like, that must be good for me because, you know, that's what's on the label. Because I think so many people just don't know what to look for. So it's just like, they just put their trust in these food labels. I mean, wrongfully so, you know, like as we've been talking about, they're not truthful, but that's why it works.
Well, and it's so funny. You and I talked about this as well before, but I remember the moment I learned about a calorie, and I was eating a package of nibs in high school. And one of my friends was like, I can't believe that you're eating that. And I was like, what? Why? It's low in fat. Because that's what it said in the corner. Twizzlers or nibs are both low in fat. And then I obviously fell victim to that particular phrase. And then she's like, it's not the fat that's going to get you, it's the calories. Meanwhile, I'm like 100 pounds soaking wet at this point, you know? But then after that, that completely changed everything for me. And then I developed, you know, disordered eating and that kind of thing. So, but I was sweet and naive then. And definitely, I think that a lot of people do think that they're making a good choice. I didn't think I was making like a great choice, but I thought I was making a better choice than maybe I was.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I still eat nibs and Twizzlers all the time. How did you even get into this? Like, let me hear your origin story. Like all of it. Like nutrition in general. Let's start in the early 90s.
I mean, we can, because I think my personal health journey, like having the benefit of hindsight now, like it's all so connected that has led me to this point. But there's been a lot. So I guess so. Very early on, to your Pop-Tart point, like I can distinctly remember the period of my life when I became aware of calories. And there were two things. One was Pop-Tarts, and learning that 2 Pop-Tarts was 400 calories. And to me, that was just like the most, like, I stopped eating them because I was like, that's insane. Like, I would have thought, like, they're these little thin little pastries, like there's nothing to them. So that made me aware of calories. And then I, like, growing up all through my childhood, every day would eat a peanut butter sandwich. I didn't like jelly. I was very picky, but it was just a peanut butter sandwich. But then
That's the best part.
I know.
Has your palate been refined since then?
Yeah. Oh, I eat anything now. But yeah, okay. Peanut butter and jelly is like my favorite food now. Same. Peanut butter is so dry. But anyway, I learned that, putting a decent amount of peanut butter on the bread, like that the sandwich was also like 400 calories. And it's just like this little thing.
Easy.
And I was just like, this is crazy. Like I can't eat these things. And that was probably like, how old was I? Maybe like 12 when I became aware of this stuff, like in middle school. And I was a chubby kid. Like I was not obese, but like I was a big kid. I was one of the bigger kids always. I'm like, I remember in fifth grade, I remember I was 100 pounds, whatever that turns into in kilograms.
No, I do pounds too, Matt.
Oh, okay, good. But I hit 100 pounds, and I remember this is awful. We would do all the, like, you'd have to get like weighed and measured in gym class and do like fitness testing and stuff. That's not even the bad part. So there was like a little office in the gym, and you would just go in one by one and you'd get weighed. You would get like this like fitness report card. Yeah, we always had this thing. It was called.
You're 12 at this point?
Oh no, this is earlier. I was 10. In elementary school, we had this thing called the Presidential Fitness Exam, I think. So every year you'd have your weight and your height, and then you would do like push-ups, sit-ups, and like they would write down how many you could do, and like you would get that every year and like compare it year over year. But anyway, the fun part of that, it's not fun, is that you would go into like they had like a little office in the gym, and you would go in one by one and get weighed. And I remember stepping on the scale and my gym teacher calling out like loudly, "We have another member of the 100-pound club," and just being horrified that like so there was one other kid in my class who was heavier, who was also in that club. And so being one of the bigger kids in that class was just like devastating. So like I didn't feel good about it before then.
I am shocked right now.
Yeah. So that stuck with me. And then so that was fifth grade. So that was right before graduating into middle school. So then like right after that was when I became very aware of calories. And hindsight now is like, I was obviously like, that was something that was on my mind at that point. But it was also the time when I just hit a growth spurt. So I stretched, like I lost a lot of that weight just because I stretched. So I became like really thin at that time too, because I grew so much. But I was so hyper aware of it at that point. So like beyond just like Pop-Tarts and peanut butter sandwiches, I realized that like calories, just like the existence of calories, I just learned about that and was like, lower calories is better because it'll keep you skinny. And that was like right at the same time that 100-calorie packs became a thing. And like there was just this whole movement towards low calorie everything. Like I would snack on South Beach diet bars. I remember they had like a cinnamon raisin one. It was actually pretty good. But like that was just like, I should eat this because it's low in calories. And like my snacks were 100-calorie packs. And like I was at 100 pounds when I was shorter and chubby, and then I stretch and I'm still 100 pounds, but I'm a foot taller. So I was so tiny and just so conscious of calories at that point. And luckily it didn't manifest into any like horrible like disordered eating for me. I mean, that in and of itself is unhealthy, but it didn't snowball into anything too bad. And then like going into high school, I kind of like regulated, and like I always ate like if you presented me with options, I would go for the lower calorie one. Like I was always just really aware of that, and like up until like adulthood, like my focus was still very much on calories, but it didn't get to a super unhealthy point, luckily. But then I'll rush through the rest of my life after that point. But I went out for football. What was it, in like 10th grade or something? I was terrible. I didn't play at all. I just sat on the bench, but that introduced me to the weight room, and I discovered working out and realized how much I liked it at that point. So I was this tiny little beanpole, but I was like, oh, I actually like enjoy this. And there was always a level to my life of like, I'm really self-conscious, I'm really introverted, and like there were always kids that like I wasn't like aggressively bullied, but there were always kids that would pick on me. And like especially then when I went out for football for no good reason, like those kids were jerks. And then it was like once I started working out and got like a tiny bit of muscle, like I felt so much more confident, and like I even like I could see that like they, not that they were like afraid of me by any means, but like that it kind of like slowed down a little bit. I was like, "Ooh, I like this." And then like beyond the superficial part of it, then I just like fell in love with that because like team sports was never my thing. I like doing my own thing. So I was like, "Oh, this is just like me versus me in the gym," and I really liked it. So then that introduced me then to like supplements and protein, and then like because of that, it kind of sent me down the like fitness and nutrition path leading into like my later teen years and adulthood. But that is that's where my like relationship with food labels and nutrition and all of it, that's didn't start in a great place, but that's where that all started for me.
I'm actually so shocked that they would do that. And can you imagine like where we are right now, 2026? What would happen to the teacher that said that now? You know?
No, absolutely
like
not.
They would.
And I don't think like I don't know, my mom might listen to this, so like sorry mom, she's probably like devastated because I don't even know if I ever told her that, but like it wasn't something I thought to like even like share. It was just like, well, like that hurts, and then I just kind of like just kept that.
I honestly couldn't think of a worse time. Like I think around that age is when I started noticing like I would compare myself more to other people at that. Like I didn't really think about how I like presented externally or my looks or anything. Like I was actually at around the same age, very small for my age. So I think that when I graduated elementary school, which would be grade 7, so like 12, 13, I was like 80 pounds. So pretty petite. So I didn't really think about it, but I definitely was comparing myself more to my peers at that age. So I couldn't even imagine if someone called out like something I was already self-conscious about in front of the entire class. You know, I had braces, so now my teeth are straight.
Oh, me too.
They were mangled back then. And if someone was like, "Oh, another really crooked mouth over here," I would have wanted to die. So I think that's so sad. And then especially like you were already going down like a rabbit hole, that would have just like pushed you down the rabbit hole faster. But I also we definitely had some of the same moments of our childhoods. I think I would eat Pop-Tarts, same thing. I remember when they introduced, there was like 4 sleeves instead of 3 of Pop-Tarts in the box, like bonus sleeve. And I was very excited about this. And then I too found out how many calories were in, and
Devastating, right?
It broke my heart because I would have an entire box easily. And again, I didn't go through like I've never been overweight, but I definitely took that information and went the other way. So I also had like 100-calorie snack packs of like Chips Ahoy, and I would let myself have like 8 to 12 of those a day, and that's literally all I would probably eat because I was definitely restricting my calories, and for no good reason. Like, just it was normal, I think, amongst my friend group in high school, which was really too bad, but to undereat and overexercise. I worked at the gym.
I mean, I think at that time it was just so prominent. Like those 100-calorie packs, I think I ate those through high school. I think like that was just so normalized for so long of just like you should want portion control and low calorie options.
Yeah. The Atkins diet was really getting its moment when I was in high school, and we were like quite influenced by that. And then my friend and I actually in science did a project on why the Atkins diet was not good for you. So I was never someone that ever like really got involved in like the low carb thing. But meanwhile, I like exposing why the Atkins diet isn't good, eating 800 calories a day, exercising for 4 hours. So yeah, it's crazy. But I do think what's interesting for both of us is maybe we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now if we weren't those kids back then, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I think I've been on like both ends of the spectrum now, and like when I tell you I was unhealthy as a kid, like my eating habits, like I won't even get into it. And just so much junk food, so much fast food, like all of it. And like then I went like the total opposite way of being like so hyper conscious of what I was eating, and like that like low calorie, like just try and eat a lot of vegetables, and like, you know, to eat as few calories
good for
as
you.
possible.
Good for you.
Yeah, I guess. But like just seeing all the extremes. Well, that was later. That was more like high school and even into college, which is just like, yeah, I don't know. The hindsight is just interesting. Like even after I found the gym and started working out, like I was able to build muscle, but like if I could go back and like do it properly and like tell myself like you need to eat food, because like I was still doing the low calorie thing and like building muscle, and like it was the time when like, I mean, it was fitness magazines. It was not social media, you know? So like the fitness magazine was like, have 2 scoops of protein after you work out and like you're good. So like I was eating probably 1,000 calories a day, but then having a scoop of protein after I worked out. And like, if I could go back and tell myself like, just eat food, man, like you're going to be so much better off. Yeah, there's a lot I would do differently, but yeah, it was I learned a lot through it all, and yeah, it led me here. I didn't even like set out to like be in the fitness industry necessarily. Like I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and then I just kind of like fell into this because I just learned that I just genuinely enjoy working out, and then the byproduct of that was always just like learning to live a healthier life. And I think because I've gone through all the extremes and like have tried various different diets, and like, I mean, through that all too, there was all the things of like, there was a hot minute when intermittent fasting was like the thing you had to do. And like, I remember when it like became a thing, and like, I vividly remember my dad asking me about it and being like, I heard about this new thing where like, you could just not eat all day and then you could eat whatever you want at night and still lose weight. And like, then looking into it and being like, well, like, I guess, but like, there's still like, calories still exist. So like, it's not just like this magic thing. And like, that was one of the things that like, at least one of the earlier ones I could remember, like in early adulthood, of then realizing like, so many people will just believe anything in the nutrition space that just like pops up because it's promising quick results. And like that, like on the like content creation side of things, kind of started me down that path of like just trying to educate people and like bring these myths to life of like, if you eat a snack at 11 p.m., like it's not going to turn into fat when you go to sleep, and like stuff like that. That is just like all this information is like seemingly new because like social media and everything is just kind of new, and like you're getting bombarded with all this information. So like that was part of what I wanted to do then, having gone through all of it myself, of like, these are the things you should focus on, and like all this other stuff, like you should not be paying attention to.
I forget sometimes because I've been in this space for so long. Like I've been at Chronometer for 8 years, but if we're looking at calorie tracking or doing a diet, it's been well over 20 years. And sometimes I forget how, like, that not everyone has the same background. And I remember I was talking to one of my friends, and it's hard because I don't want to correct people. That's just not who I am. But one of my friends is like, I don't eat bread because there's no nutrients in it, you know? And I was like, oh man, like what do you do? Do I correct this person? Do I just leave? I left it because I don't want to sound preachy, but yeah, it's definitely, people are just getting tidbits off social media now and just running with these things. And a lot of the time when I'm, anyone in my circle has like lost a lot of weight or that kind of thing because of fasting. I mean, fasting is still like, it's still having its moment, I think. But I'm like, you're just eating less calories really at the end of the day. So,
and like, yeah, that's one of those things that like there's merit to it in the sense that like a lot of people feel better following that kind of like eating pattern. But like,
they do,
I think like that was something that I learned really early on. It's just like, it's just a personal preference. Like if you want to eat like that and you feel better and like it's easier for you to control what you eat in the day, then like by all means. Like I feel like I get hungry every 20 minutes, and like if I don't eat during the day, like I am just an awful person. So like I would be so miserable if I just didn't eat until 6 o'clock at night or whatever. But like for some people, like there are people that forget to eat, which I still don't understand how that happens. But some people are like, I just didn't eat lunch today. And like for those people, it's like, okay, then don't eat and then eat at night. And if that makes you feel better, then you should do that. But yeah, there's so many promises and like these like shortcuts that people want to find when like it's all just like there are some basic principles to follow, but then it's all just like personal preference, and like it's so different for everybody. And yeah, that's something I wish I understood very early on, but I'm glad I get it now.
Yeah, and it's still relatively early in the grand scheme of things, So
yeah,
70 plus years maybe still. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for. But who knows? Tell me about cheat day design. Like why the name cheat day?
The year was what was it? I think it was 2017 when I left my job.
What was the weather like on a cold and gloomy day in 2017?
I wish I had a better setup. Okay. But no, in 2017 I left my job and I wanted to start up my own business. I always wanted to work for myself, never wanted to work in an office. But I did that for a few years, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I started my own business doing graphic and web design. But because I was just really into the fitness industry and like I wanted to keep my work enjoyable, I wanted to do graphic design because that was what my background was for the fitness industry, with the idea of like, maybe I'll be able to like meet some cool people and like I'll enjoy the projects I do versus just like coming up with corporate logos and whatever boring nonsense. So I needed to find a name that fit that space. And like 2017, like it doesn't even sound like it was that long ago, but like we're going on 10 years, which was like kind of a long time. But like that was really before I had like the mindset I have now with nutrition, whereas like now, like I don't have cheat days. I don't believe you should have cheat days, but like at the time that was very much just like in the vernacular, and like it was just like this fun idea that like I never thought anything of, like have a cheat day, eat whatever you want. Like that's what a lot of fitness folks did at the time. You eat really low calorie, low carb 6 days a week, and then Sunday cheat day, whatever. Like The Rock would do it, and I was like, oh, this is so cool and fun. So I named the company Cheat Day Design, just because that's like it's a fun thing. I was able to make a fun logo around that, and people in the fitness industry like get it. Like it makes sense that I'm doing stuff within the fitness industry. And that was just for graphic and web design for years. And then I started just posting on Instagram on a business account, just because like that's what you do when you have a business, like try to get business through social media. So I was just posting. I mean, back in the day, I don't know if everyone remembers, Instagram was just photos. There weren't videos, believe it or not.
The glory days.
The youths might not know this. So they were just square images. So like that was my wheelhouse, because it was like, I'm just doing graphic design, so I'll just post graphics. And spoiler, nobody cared, because who wants to follow a fitness graphic designer on social media? But
everybody,
there was
turns out everybody does.
Well, we'll get there. Hold on.
Fast forward, it's everybody.
So there was like one, I remember the specific post too. I just decided that I was going to make a graphic that was comparing Halo Top ice cream and some other brand. I don't know what it was, but I broke it down per serving of like, it's this many calories, this much protein, and you're getting like 2 grams of extra protein, but you're paying $1 more or whatever it is. And like at the time, like I probably had like 4 followers, and like they were all my family. But I remember that post got like 50 likes, let's call it. And
Whoa.
It was just like,
that's a big deal.
Well, like, hold on here. Like there's something here. So then after that, I was like, well, like there's no sense in me just posting like logos on here. Like, why don't I know enough about nutrition. Like, why don't I just like post some more stuff like that? So I did more comparisons like that. I would post about different like fitness myths and like nutrition myths and stuff. And then like it started kind of growing. And then, I mean, that was still like probably 2018, 2019. Like it was really slow. And then just like over the years, just kind of leaned into the content. And I was still like, Cheat Day Design was still my business. I think it was 2021 when I was finally like, I'm just going to shift and just try to do content now, because like it had gained so much traction. But it put me in a weird spot where like I very much did not have cheat days. I was like, I don't identify with this name anymore, but like I've grown this following, like I have this business. What do I do? And now like if I could go back, like I probably would have changed it. It was like it was early enough that it wouldn't have mattered. And now like
now you're married.
Yeah, now it's not going anywhere. I try to embrace it now, but like even like the following aside, like I could change my Instagram handle. Like no one's gonna care. Maybe it would be harder for some people to like search for me, but like it wouldn't really matter too much. But also like cheatdaydesign.com was my portfolio that then shifted completely, and it's now like just my blog. So like I'll take the content I post on social media and like expand on that on my website, and I have all these different tools and stuff, and like that gets enough traffic like separate from social media that like that is how people know me. So I'm stuck with Cheat Day Design at this point.
That's your name.
I just need to like
now.
It is. So I try to embrace it. It's this weird line to walk now, because when it comes to nutrition, like my whole thing is that like I think, I mean, there's so much nuance to it, but I don't believe in having cheat days. I don't have them myself. And like, I wouldn't, like, if someone was just getting started on their health journey, I would never recommend to somebody like just go crazy and like eat whatever you want one day and then be strict all the other days. Like, I very much like having these like off days or like untracked days if you're tracking really meticulously, of like maybe on the weekend, like you don't have to track, like you're going to eat probably very similar foods as what you normally eat, but like you don't have to be so strict about it. And like that's my form of a cheat day at this point, but not in the form that it used to be. But the business has grown to a point where it's not going anywhere. So try to embrace it. I got like stickers and stuff.
I know, they're cute. They're all my favorite foods. I used to have a literal cheat day design. So going back to high school, I would be very strict with my food. We're talking like 800, 900 calories. But then I would do a cheat day, and I would have a blueprint, Matt, for my cheat day. Oh, yeah. I designed my own cheat day. So maybe I'm the OG cheat day design, actually.
Maybe.
You're going to have to start paying me a royalty. But I would write down a list with pen and paper because there was no cell phones back then. Actually, there was, but I wasn't cool enough to have one. I would write down every food that I had craved during like the 6 days. And then
I see. So you would actually design your cheat day.
I would. Yep.
Oh.
And then I worked 3 jobs. I went to high school, but one of the places I worked was a gas station, which had every food that I could have possibly wanted to eat.
Nice.
Very dangerous.
All the Pop-Tarts.
All the Pop-Tarts. Yep. It's funny. Actually, we have Pop-Tarts in the office right now. We've never had Pop-Tarts in the office. And then the week that you're on the podcast, lo and behold,
look at that.
There's office Pop-Tarts.
We're having Pop-Tarts today.
I'm hoping, Josh is over there having a granola bar, but I was hoping he was dipping into the Pop-Tarts. But I think he's too, I think that he's too disciplined of a Pop-Tart, but we'll work on him.
All right, good.
It's coming for you, Josh. Do you think that foods are good and bad?
No, that's the opposite of like that in and of itself is what a cheat day is all about. And that is like that's like one of the core like messages of what I try to do with my rebrands, of like trying to shift that mindset of like there shouldn't be good and bad food. And there are obviously better choices than others, but once you start labeling food as bad and avoiding it, like the Pop-Tarts of the past, like that could send you down a really difficult path, and just like a really like horrible one. Like when you start like actively avoiding foods because you think you need to, like that's really a bummer, because it's usually food that like you like, or else it wouldn't be hard to avoid them. So it's like, no, you shouldn't be afraid to eat certain foods. You should just focus on making, the choices that are better for your specific diet, but like leaving room for those, quote unquote fun foods.
Yeah, it's the biggest tragedy of my life is that all the hyper palatable foods have less nutrients than than other foods. Although one day we'll have a Pop-Tart that is gonna hit all of my nutrient goals. It's gonna be called.
Hey, we have protein Pop-Tarts now.
I know. I saw you made a video of that, but didn't you say there was like 2 grams of protein or something?
2.5.
Whoa.
Well, per Pop-Tart, they added 2.5 grams of protein. So pretty big deal.
Well, they could add more nutrients. Like, so we have this all targets bar and chronometer, and I could pitch the idea of like an all targets Pop-Tart, and that would cover all of your major nutrients. It's just, enriched with everything you need. And then that would really sell.
Does Kellogg's listen to the podcast?
No.
All right, I'll see if I have any pull. I'll try to connect you.
Do you have pull with Tony?
No. Is that's who owns Pop-Tart, right?
Tony the Tiger?
Well, sure. Is he the CEO of Kellogg's?
I think so. There.
Okay,
great.
then we're saying the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Please do.
I'm sure they've seen my content and are big fans, so I will. I'll reach out.
Undoubtedly. What is it like to be Insta famous? You know what? I've never really interviewed somebody that's like an influencer.
Blech.
I know you don't like that word. I know you don't like that word.
I'm the worst influencer, but I do fit the definition. Yes.
What is that like? Do you feel pressure to be
a
source of
I
truth?
did.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. Life happened and my perspective has changed. I have kids now. I care significantly less than I did, 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, not to downplay it, because I know a lot of people would love to have a large following on social media. It's cool. There are perks to it. But like at the same time, it also means nothing. And like, I've learned that more recently, that like it could all go away in a second. And like, I'm trying to enjoy the ride while I can. But like at the same time, like nobody really knows who I am, or like, frankly, no one really cares who I am. Like, I'm not getting stopped on the street. Like, no one
Really? Never once.
One time in my hometown. But to be fair, that was like a few years ago when I posted a lot more dog content, and she recognized my dog.
Ace,
and,
right?
And then, yeah, she recognized my dog, and then like I was also there. But no, I mean, also I don't get out much, but no one's going to stop me on the street. No one recognizes me. Like, having a large following is cool, but like, it's also like, it doesn't make you famous by any means. But yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know how I feel about it. I've never loved it. I never set out to like do social media. I've always hated being on camera. So it was like the last thing I thought I would ever do. But now here we are. I've been able to meet some cool people, and like I'm doing this because I have a following on social media. Like, I've been able to make really cool connections, which has been really cool. And like I get to do it for a living, kind of. It's like I don't know. It's a lot to explain, but like influencer, like you don't get paid to do this. Like, I have 500 something thousand followers on Instagram, and like I don't get a dime for that. Like that means nothing. There's no trophy, there's no money. So like you have to monetize that. Like, if you're going to be a content creator, which is what I tell people I am, not an influencer.
Right.
But like, if you're going to do content creation, like there needs to be some way that you monetize it. I just have like 7 different things that I do, but like most people are like coaches that sell programs or like recipe books or something. I don't do that stuff.
Okay, this is a total aside, but are you on Facebook?
Technically, I have to be, because it's like linked to my business account.
Okay.
But like I don't use it.
You know what's so interesting? So I do sled photography as a side hustle, and I have an Instagram account. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't get like any kind of, like, I got like 20,000 followers, so nothing to the volume of what you're doing. But Facebook sent me a notification, and they're like, because you have more than $5,000 or 5,000 followers on Facebook, you can monetize the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
is it
sure.
like post a certain amount of videos in a certain amount of time, and like,
yeah, so
is it one of those things?
Basically, but I understand how people get like sucked down this influencer hole, because I made a post and it got like 40,000 views.
Nice.
Again, not huge, but not terrible.
That's good.
Yeah, my best friend and I, we dug in a snow cave and we stayed in it overnight.
Cool.
Yeah, we snowmobiled there and then dug it, and we didn't sleep at all. But anyway, and then so Facebook was like, oh, you've made $9 off this post, which is, again, not very much. But it was like, but
More than zero.
it's like, if you make another reel in the next 7 days and it gets more than 10,000 views, we're going to give you $45, Eliisa. And I didn't do it because I'm like, this is a slippery slope. But I was like, if people that have huge followings are monetizing Facebook, I can see why it could be quite.
For what it's worth, they only do that to like get you started. They're not offering anything at this point.
Oh, okay. That
So,
makes
yeah, I get
much better.
I get $0.0 for all of the content I post. There's no like monetization tool on Instagram. Like TikTok has their own, YouTube has it, where it's like really minimal from the ads they run. Instagram, maybe they've like toyed with ads and maybe you get like a few cents. But no, I get $0 from that. So yeah, most influencers and content creators, it's more like partnerships and like sponsored posts and stuff as like a way to monetize, because the platform itself doesn't do anything.
Yeah, well, that's how we found you. And I didn't share this yet because I'm going to make you uncomfortable by sharing it, but I was like fangirling hard for years. And then Spencer was like, hey, this guy has used photo logging. Do you want to talk to him? And I'm like, whoa. Hold on.
That guy?
Is this who I think it? And did I tell you our nutrition scientist? Did I shared your content that you made with our entire team? And she is a huge fan of yours as well. She's like, I'm so stoked that we're working with him, because she was like, we need to work with this guy. And I'm like, I'm trying. He's ignoring our DMs. So it was just so funny because, and she's got 3 degrees in nutrition. She's very, very knowledgeable, but also has no BS. She'd be an RX bar if she was a protein bar, because she's got no BS. Yeah. We're bringing this full circle. But yeah, and then your content that you made for us, you sent it to me. I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast because other influencers will probably listen to this too, but maybe actually it's call to action. Sorry, other content creators. And I was like, this is the best content anyone has ever sent me. Like, it was incredible. And then I sent it to the team, and they were all so stoked. And they're like, we need more of this. And I'm like, don't worry, it's coming.
We got more.
And then we're working with an agency. Oh, I'm not done pumping your tires yet, Matt. You got to hold on here.
No, I will just sit here and take it.
Yeah, I'm not finished gassing you up yet. And I sent it to our agency because we're working with an agency on ads. And they're like, can you ask him if we can chop this up? And I'm like, I will ask, but I was never planning on asking. You know, nice. I didn't want to say no, but I was not gonna. We're not doing that.
Chop it.
And then,
come on.
No, we don't chop up gold bars for nuggets, okay? And then it has performed. It is our best piece of performing content on the ad side. And they didn't think it would be great because it's 1 minute and 36 seconds. Which is typically not great for ads.
Shows what they know.
It's by far.
Don't talk bad. You can't talk bad about the agency.
I actually, you know what? Well, the agency, I have a call every week with Rose. Shout out Rose. I love her. She's the best. Okay. Yeah, no, we know, we honestly do. They're so great. But I thought it was just really, really funny that it's done so well. And then Emily, she's my boss. She's like, when is more Matt content coming? And I'm like, soon. So no pressure.
Well,
I don't know how you're going to top that. But
a few things. One, thank you. That's cool to hear. I'm glad it's performing well.
Yeah.
2, to bring it back to the whole like influencer content creator thing, that's a really cool piece to it. Like you telling me that somebody is like familiar with my content and like excited about it, like that's never not really cool to me. Because I've heard that before, and like through friends too, of them just being like I've heard from people that told me like their friends have showed them my content, just being like, hey, check this video out, and then being like, I know him. And just like that is just like, that's wild. Like there are just strangers on the internet consuming my content, and it like is not at all connected to me, but then like makes its way back to me. So like that's cool that people like genuinely enjoy my content. So as much as like I poo-poo on being like an influencer and content creator, because like I just hate the word and like the connotations it has, it's really cool. So thank you. And I'm glad that you like my content too.
Yeah, well, I was influenced twice by you. So once I bought your pancake mix, which is actually still on my desk, delicious. And then the second time again was, which I already spoke to, but in the Costco aisle, I was also influenced, not necessarily by like your post, but just your philosophy, which is life-changing for me, actually, I think. Because I'm already someone that's pretty knowledgeable compared to the average person about nutrition. And then for me to just have this like aha marketing RX bar moment like 3-4 months ago, when I'm so deep already into my nutrition journey, like that information is going to serve me. And I definitely look at marketing stuff differently when it comes to food. Like right now I have a Coke Zero here, and it has Santa on it, and that makes me want to drink it more because Santa makes me feel good. So this Coke's going to make me feel good. You know?
I'm assuming it was like Christmas related. Like that was the idea behind it, was that like, hey, it's Christmas, let's put Santa on it. But I'm glad that that elicits some happy feelings for you.
You don't think that Santa makes people more likely to?
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, like this is probably like goes too deep for most people, but like with someone with a marketing background, I would say that it's probably Christmas related.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was. See, I'm just over here now, just deep in everything.
Yeah, well, I'm here to help.
Hope and dream shattered. It's been a pleasure. I was excited for this one. I was not prepared for this one, and everything I sent you, all the questions that I had, we covered one of them.
That's perfect. That's what everyone's here for. I don't know which question it was, but I hope I answered it appropriately.
You did. But I think for me, like this one was especially cool because I think we have really similar upbringings in terms of nutrition. So it was like, I've had some validating conversations with you. I think most people that I talk to, even like at work here, they've had much healthier. I guess I don't want to label my behavior as unhealthy, but it certainly wasn't great.
Did they also grow up in the 90s? Because I feel like we're just products of the 90s.
Yeah, actually, most of us are millennials at Chronometer, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. They're just some of the lucky ones, huh? They avoided all the nonsense.
Yeah, they're like, what is a calorie? Like, what? So it's good. It's good for me because makes, I think that I'm going to deep this, but definitely feel like less alone, I think. And that's always a great thing because you have to eat every day, and it's a complex relationship sometimes. But now I'm healthier than ever in terms of like, I'm like you, I'll eat what I want. And moderation has been the key to success for me because then I'm not like eating a box of 8 Pop-Tarts. Although the one here is like 16 sleeves of Pop-Tarts, 32 Pop-Tarts. And I'm pretty hungry, right? I could do it.
Yeah.
How many calories is that? 6,400?
So math. Sure.
6,400 calories. Yep.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Challenge accepted.
But I was going to say, if it makes you feel a little bit better, I've been doing what I do on social media, not just food labels, just content for many years now, going on 10. And to your point of feeling like less alone, it is very validating because like now that I post about nutrition and things in that space, and a lot of, it's kind of shifted and now it's mostly food label related. But if you rewind a few years, a lot of what I posted was very macro focused and very focused on moderation and more in that realm. And I've heard from thousands of people in that space of them being like really lost in nutrition and like falling for all the different traps and everything. And like my content was able to kind of help rein them in on that, of like moderation being the key and like not being afraid of certain foods, but like they've gone through all of those same things too. So like so many of us have fallen for all of these traps and different diets and, tried a million different things. And it's not an easy path, like there are so many different ways to get there, but I feel like we're all getting there. We're all getting there together.
I think so. And I hope that we can both help people do that. Interesting. You said I think you said being like afraid of food. And I think I was actually. Yeah, I would be so anxious if I had to like dine out or that kind of thing.
Yes.
Then because I'm like, what do I do? How can I track this? Like, I remember my dad came and visited me in university, and I was like trying to find nutrition information online, and it was not available. And then he wanted to go. My dad is such a foodie, and he wanted to take me out to this like beautiful restaurant. And I'm like a poor 18-year-old student. And I'm like, no, let's go to Boston Pizza. And the reason why I needed to do that is because they had the nutrition information on their website. So I like forewent probably like $100 dinner with my dad for a cold Caesar salad, which is literally what I ate at Boston Pizza, because I was so scared of not knowing. And so I ran into that situation where someone else recently had that same fear. And I was like, let me help you maybe know how to like navigate this.
I would bet that the majority of people that hear this probably experience that or something similar. Because I think if you've tracked for any length of time, like that fear is very real until like you get comfortable in your own like nutrition journey. Like, I mean, I've been there so many times of exactly that, and like not going out to eat because I had no idea. Like, I don't know how they're prepping the food, if there's going to be extra oil and all that. Like, yeah, I've been through that many times.
And that's so sad, because obviously you're missing out probably on better. In this case, I was missing out on better food. But I couldn't even look forward to seeing my dad in a time when I was living away from my parents for the first time, because I was crippled by that, like, and then I'm not like that at all anymore. I love dining out, but I have shut down in my lifetime probably dozens and dozens of opportunities to connect with people that I really care about over good food for that fear. Yeah. And that's really sad, because you're not living as well,
For sure. Do we have to wrap this up? Because I could throw one quick advice out for everybody.
Please. I was going to end on, do you have any advice? So the segue is...
Well, okay, cool. Oh, well, I wish I had better advice, because this is directly related to that fear of eating out.
Okay. We have two options for advice. Okay.
Well, what I was going to say was, there was one point where like I had been tracking really meticulously, and I was really like, I didn't like eating out and all that stuff we're talking about. And then I went to Italy for 10 days. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to track. So like, it's a very hard thing to do, but I told myself like, I'm not going to track anything. Like, I'm not going to even like try to eat certain foods. Like, I'm not going to focus on protein. Like, while I was there were days where I ate probably like 5 grams of protein, like no protein. And I didn't work out for 10 days. And I was like, I'm going to weigh myself before I leave. I'm going to weigh myself when I come home and like see what changes, and had the best time. I don't know if you know this, but in Italy they have great food.
I never heard that before.
I know a lot of people don't know that.
But word is out now. Italy, get ready.
so amazing food, like dessert every night, like the best time, and just kind of like unplugging from that. And then I came home and my weight was pretty much identical, and like I hadn't worked out. Like I felt fine. Like I obviously didn't lose my muscle, and like I didn't get fat over 10 days, you know, like the fear of like, oh, you're not going to track, you're just going to start gaining weight. And then that like helped me to kind of make that transition of like, well, if I could do it for 10 days or a week or like a long weekend, whatever, it's like I could not track a meal and like be totally fine. So it's like, if you can challenge yourself to like go away for a weekend and like do that, like if you're traveling, or like it doesn't have to be 10 days, that might be too aggressive. If it's a day or a weekend, like if you can just kind of unplug from that and detach from it and realize that like nothing bad happens when you can't track that like completely changed everything for me and made things so much easier for me after that point.
A TSN turning point. I honestly had the same thing happen. I went to Ireland, not known for their food quite as much as Italy might be, but damn, they
have Lucky Charms there though, don't they?
That's all that they eat there, actually.
That's where they came from.
Obviously the country of origin for Lucky Charms is Ireland. They're magically delicious.
Yeah, at least the marshmallows.
Yeah, at the very least. But they fish and chips. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
The Irish know what's up. And so I exclusively basically ate fish and chips, and the same thing, I was like not tracking and just letting myself enjoy. And I would have like gummy bears. I was driving on the wrong side of the road in a different country. My friend, she's like, I can't do this, it's too stressful, it's up to you. So I would feed my stress with gummy bears. And same thing, I was like, I've eaten everything, I'm going to get home and I'm going to weigh 10 pounds more than I do right now, and it's going to be terrible to work this off. And I got home and like my weight was identical, and I had the same like aha moment. Honestly, I was like, okay, this is okay. I'm going to be okay. And I think that like I needed that to happen. But same thing, like on the airplane, I remember being scared, like real fear, not because I'm in, you know, a huge metal object floating in the sky, but because the unknown of what was on the other side of that for like my body composition was terrifying. So
yeah. Then you get through it, and then you learn that it's not so scary, and then you could live your life just with a little bit less stress.
I hope that somebody listens to this podcast and they book a trip that they were worried about.
I mean, you don't have to go to Italy, but I do recommend it.
Are you Italian?
I am.
You're American, but
quarter. Well, yes. You don't hear my Italian accent? I think I'm a quarter Italian.
Okay.
So that's something.
You look Italian. That's why I was wondering.
The pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know one Italian word. It's attraversiamo, and that means
that's
cross.
That's a long one.
I know. It's beautiful, isn't it? Doesn't it sound like that would be something cool? Attraversiamo. But it just means cross the street.
That's such a specific one to just have.
I know.
Well, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we'll wrap this up. This has been so much fun for me. Like, how is this my job? But do you have any more a more holistic piece of advice for our listeners, because I do like to end on like, if you have one thing that you could do today, what would it be? What would you tell people?
Don't take it all so seriously, I think.
Ooh, I like that one.
I like with my content and like everything I do, like I don't want to scare people. You know, so that's not my intention. Like I don't want you to think everyone's lying to you. I don't want you to think that all food is bad or like all healthy foods are lying. Like don't take it all so seriously. You know, like if there's food you want to eat, enjoy it. Life is very short and food is delicious. And I think creates a lot, or at least for me, has created a lot of amazing like core memories. Like a lot of the best parts of life have revolved around food. And I think it's very important. So like just don't get so bogged down in all of the nonsense and just enjoy it a little bit.
I love that. I love that advice. And I'll have to thank our sponsors, Lucky Charms, for supporting this
Lucky
episode
Charms
of
and
that.
Pop-Tarts.
That's right. Big shout out. But I agree with you. Yeah, it's sometimes consuming. Again, with another food pun. Another food pun.
Wow.
I know. I'm wrapping it up. I'm finishing this strong. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Where do people find you? I didn't know you had a blog, Matt. I did not know you had a blog, and I feel like a bad fangirl. So,
you know,
fail.
Yeah, it hurts.
It does.
That
it
hurts
would.
a lot.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. You can find me. I am mostly active on Instagram. I'm on all the socials, but if you want to like message me and like chat, I'm active on Instagram. So it's Cheat Day Design. A lot of people pluralize the design, understandably so, but it's singular, Cheat Day Design. And that same thing, cheatdaydesign.com, is my blog. It's really just an expanded version of what I post on social media. A lot of it, like I said, used to be very macro focused. A lot of my blog is very macro focused. If you're like a Starbucks drinker, there's a Starbucks nutrition calculator. So I've built tools around macros for people. There's some of the food label stuff, but less so. It's more nutrition and macro focus. So you can find content on there, hopefully helpful for anyone who uses the app and tracks macros. I think it's all pretty relevant. US based though, so sorry, because the menus are going to be a little different. So if you're in Canada and you're looking for, I know,
you need
I think
to
I did
expand on that.
I tried to do
Canada
Tim
now.
Hortons once. Well, here's the thing. So I'm not going to talk bad on Timmy Ho Ho's. I know you guys love it, but
every day I have it. Every day.
Okay, so real quick, now that we're on it, is the coffee always ridiculously hot? Is that a thing they do?
I thought you were going to say gross.
Well, it's not great, but like, so a drive I would do would always be cutting through Canada to get from Michigan to New York, where I have family, and I would always go directly through Canada. So if you want coffee, you have one option if you're there. So I would get Tim Hortons, and it's Canada, so it's always ridiculously cold. So I'm like, I'm going to get myself a hot coffee. And like they hand it to you and it's coffee. So of course it's going to be hot. But like, I've never seen that level of heat. And like, I'm seeing these people like just take it to the dome right off the counter like it's nothing. And like, I took one sip and like thought my face was going to melt. Like it was so hot. And this happened 4 or 5 times, maybe. That like
you're gonna make me cry.
Like I don't know if it's just like it, like if my like American self like just can't handle temperatures the same way,
no,
or if like
not.
it's truly that scalding hot. But like it was insane amounts of hot. So maybe that's not a thing, and I don't know. I'll have to poll some other Americans and see if they've had Tim Hortons before. But like, it's only for what it's worth. I have a Tim Hortons like down the street from me, and I've had
an American Tim Hortons.
And Yeah, well, because I'm in Michigan, I'm like very close to Canada, so
You're basically Canadian. Yeah.
But like,
say that, but
it's not that hot. But
Well,
like,
you know,
anytime
we-
I've gotten it in Canada, like I don't know what your water is doing there. It was so hot. Like I cannot emphasize it enough.
I've never laughed harder on the podcast, that's for sure. But maybe we've just like developed like calluses on our tongues.
I don't, or you guys are just like
esophagus.
way tougher than us
I
with like
don't know.
all these extremes. I don't know. Something's going on there. I don't even know what I was talking about, but
I don't know.
that has scarred me like physically and mentally.
Physically. You have no taste for Lucky Charms and Pop-Tarts that have lots.
I don't. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Coffee, Matt. If I have steep tea from there, because I literally have steep tea. I have to the minute 2 minutes before steep tea be hot.
Then
I don't know
feel
what you are validated. This each other's experiences.
I have to imagine Hortons and ordered coffee and tried to sip it immediately.
I think so, but the
Also,
people that you're
42
talking
minutes.
well, it's such a
It has to be like temperature at that point.
perfectly warm.
You know, there's like if you don't want to wait.
Like then we're like the heat to water is skewed.
With less water.
I will not figure.
Set with your 42-minute fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but
with my cup of tea this way, you
just
know.
looking at it, yeah.
30 minutes.
It's a good therapy session though. For good, like you can get.
You know how I calculated this? Like I was
A clock.
No, I'm not that scientific. Found out that if I live and I was on 42 minutes away. The next town is called Salmon. Are really made up.
I'm sorry, Sycamoose. The other one.
Salmon.
Salmon arms.
Hawkeye arm would have been better. Salmon arm. Yeah, we have no hope here. 42 minutes, and by the time I drink the tea at all.
Oh, so you didn't even like sip it at 32.
Oh,
you just assumed that would.
I'm a creature.
Okay,
I'm a
well,
creature of habit.
All right, teach their. Anyway, I'm Hortons and ended half. Sorry, I
think.
Thank you so much. This episode of Discovery's Conversation explored how shape the way we think and why taking a close and nutrition facts from decisions. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review for someone else who might find it. If you're interested in the nutrients in the food, learn more by downloading the. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back exploring the science of nutrition, help us better understand our health. Next time.